University of Chicago Public Policy Podcasts.
Welcome back to UC3P, a podcast brought to you by students at the University of Chicago. My name is David Raban, and I'm the publisher of these podcasts. Before we get to the episode, let me tell you a little bit about what we've been doing on this side of the mic. In the past months, we've been getting a lot of original content ready for you. In a couple of weeks, we'll showcase our brand new podcast, Kinda Sorta Brown. It's a podcast that looks at issues of race through the lens of public policy. And you know what? We're going to bring you another new one. It's called The Walk-Ons. That one looks at sports through the lens of public policy. Don't worry, when the time comes, we'll tell you how you can find those episodes and subscribe to those shows. Anyway, with all that work and with our efforts to train new student podcasters, we decided this would be another good week for bringing you an episode from the archives. So today, we're bringing you an episode from India. In this episode, recent Harris graduate Himanshu Dave interviewed another student, Jackie Williams, about her time working for Brookings India in New Delhi. It's a fun one where they talk about their respective experiences working abroad. Last note before we get into the episode, this podcast is taking a 2-week hiatus out of respect for students who are taking finals. So if you're itching for content, go check out our past episodes, or you can check out our other series, including Just China, Thank You for Your Service, Chicagoland, or Have You Heard the UC3P News Quiz? Without further ado, here's Himanshu with Jackie Williams.
Hello and welcome to the University of Chicago's Public Policy Podcast. My name is Himanshu Dave and I'm a graduate student at the Harris School of Public Policy. The interview you are about to hear is a part of the series Harris Summer Adventures. During my time in New Delhi, I met with a co-intern Jackie Williams. Jackie is from Brooklyn, New York, and it was her first time in India and the longest trip she has ever done by herself. We thank Peter Biava for producing our music, David Raban for editing, and Shirin Raban for designing our cover art. So, let's listen to what Jackie has to say about her adventure. And thank you for listening. Hello everyone, I am Himanshu Dave and I am today interviewing Jackie for UChicago's Public Policy Podcast. I'm from India and I'm doing internship here at Brookings India, and Jackie it's her last day, so she's also a co-intern here. And okay, we'll start. Hi Jackie, how are you?
Hi, I'm very good. How are you?
So, tell me something about you.
Well, I was born and raised in New York.
Okay.
This is my first time in India. This is the longest trip I've ever done by myself. So I've been here for 10 weeks in New Delhi, and it's been quite the experience.
Okay, great. So how did you hear about Brookings India and the internship opportunity here and everything?
So,
would you like to say?
Yeah. So I'm part of the Jeanette K. Watson Fellowship, and it's a 3-year program, and every summer we're supposed to do a meaningful internship that's supposed to expand our physical and professional horizons. So this summer I had the opportunity to find an internship outside of New York and outside of the U.S., and I am my concentration is in public policy, and what better organization to work under than Brookings.
Right.
So I just started researching, saw that there was an opening in Brookings, India, and I applied, and now I'm here.
Great. So you are in which year, you said?
I'm a junior. I'm going to be a junior.
Oh, you are going to be a junior.
Yeah.
So this is your first internship ever?
It's not my first internship. It's my first time in India.
First time in India.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you have any other options, like other countries?
Yeah, I had 2 other offers in domestic. Like one was in Atlanta and one was in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
But because I'm fully funded by my fellowship to
Right.
travel wherever, I was like, Brookings is a really great institution. It's a really great organization.
Okay.
And I've never been out, in India.
Right.
And to be in the capital as well of India
Yeah.
it's a really phenomenal experience. So couldn't
Great.
pass it up.
Great. So, okay, we'll talk about your experiences in India, but I just want to know what was in your mind before when you got this internship and you know that you are traveling to India for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
It's long, right?
Yeah, no. My parents, they were a big factor or influence in where I decided to apply. And the first thing that my dad said when I told him I was, considering international internships, he was like, please just stay in the Western Hemisphere. So when I told him that I got matched with Brookings India, he and my mom were just they were a little conservative. They were
Okay.
a little concerned. Personally, only what I knew about India was what I saw on news and on social media,
Right.
and from what my Indian friends have
Western
told me.
news. Right?
Yeah, Western news, and what my Indian friends who've only grown up in America have told me about, their
Okay.
couple of summer trips back to India.
Right.
So I just knew it was a hot and dusty place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my general perspective of India.
Okay. And what were your main concerns? Like,
I think
I'm sure food must be one. Food
Yeah.
and water.
food, yes. Food, like, I guess cleanliness of food, cleanliness of the water,
Hygiene.
availability of like safe drinking water. I mean, like everyone told me just to have bottled water.
Yeah.
I think overall safety was a concern because, again, Western media, the big news article that had come out a couple of years ago was of a woman who was
Yeah.
attacked
Yes,
in New
yes.
Delhi.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was kind of on the forefront of my mind and my family's mind before I came.
Mm-hmm.
So so hygiene, safety, and coming from New York where where it doesn't get hotter than like 90 degrees. I landed in New Delhi and it was 112 degrees.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so weather was also kind of a concern,
Yeah.
knowing that I'd be coming in the dead,
Mm-hmm.
the middle of summer here. So,
So coming to India,
Mm-hmm.
first day when you landed to New Delhi airport, right?
yeah.
So what was the first impression, first feeling?
I literally felt like I was being crushed by the humidity. It was so hot and heavy.
Yeah.
I was told by, like, again, friends and family to be careful when I got to the airport because immediately people would try to come up to me and ask me for money. And
Did that happen actually?
it didn't happen. That was
Didn't,
actually,
yeah.
that's what I was expecting, and that didn't
Wow.
happen. I was more taken aback by the weather than the
Yeah,
people.
Yeah.
I think the second thing that really surprised me was the organized chaos that is Indian
Organized
traffic.
chaos.
Yeah, the organized
Yeah.
chaos. Yeah, that is Indian traffic. Because I've visited other Indian cities and traffic is quite similar. It's all a mess, but somehow people manage to get from point A to point B.
Right.
And I honestly I didn't ride in an auto rickshaw for the first like 3 or 4 weeks
Okay.
because I was so afraid that like it would tip over, someone would crash into it, that the auto driver would like try to scam me, which has
Okay.
happened a couple of
Has?
times. They tried to. They didn't scam me though, because I
you were cautious
yes, I was
smarter
aware.
than them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, those were some really big shocks when I first got here.
Okay. So what's your overall feeling about Delhi?
My overall feeling about Delhi, it really does remind me of, it's like has a little bit of New York City, and it reminds me a lot of Washington, D.C., of course, with maybe like 5 times as many people. But, it reminds me of New York City because a lot of people say New Yorkers are rude and impersonal.
Yeah.
And, I think a lot
I do have that opinion a little bit, but I really love New York. So I keep coming there and I face rude people. It's fine.
Yeah. I think people in New Delhi, they have attitude and they have confidence, which I think is something I could relate to, and which is why I think I've been able to, get along with a lot of people here and be able to travel and navigate on my own for 10 weeks.
Right.
And it reminds me of Washington, D.C. because again, it is the capital city. There are actually quite a lot of traffic circles, which is like a similar feature in Washington, D.C. There are a lot of traffic circles there. And it's a really great city to be in because I've been told and I've seen it myself, the disparity in New Delhi, how, there are literally gated houses with, security guards on the outside. And then there are people who live in slums. Yeah. They live in, makeshift homes and, they're collecting rainwater for like drinking or bathing water.
Yeah. And
I'm complaining that that my shower stopped working for like 2 nights or something. But just seeing that cohesion and coexistence in a small area with so many people, it's really incredible. Like I can't have this experience anywhere else. You cannot have a New Delhi or an Indian experience outside of India. This is like once in a lifetime, and it's really amazing to be here and at Brookings studying the people and the culture and the different hierarchical and bureaucratic institutions, and while also physically being here.
Right. So tell us about the work that you have done at Brookings. Who are you working with? And
so I'm working under Dr. Shamika Ravi. She is leading the development economics vertical here at Brookings Institution India Center. We were working on a report that is supposed to review the restructuring of the Medical Council of India. The Medical Council of India was supposed to oversee undergraduate and postgraduate medical education. However, due to corruption and gross mismanagement, they have failed on numerous fronts to adequately do so.
Right.
So Niti Aayog and the Indian government proposed a draft bill to come up with a commission, a council to replace the Medical Council of India.
Right.
And what we did was we made we established global best standards for medical education, and we reviewed the draft bill that Niti Aayog put out. And we basically reviewed it, and we put out our opinions on the best way to go about restructuring medical education here in India.
Okay. So did you get to talk with a lot of people as a part of this project? Or?
Yeah, I can't specifically say who, but a couple of international health experts, professors at various international health medical colleges, several known affiliates of Brookings Institution, and top officials here in India. So, it's way more exposure than I thought I was going to have. I didn't think, anyone would be willing to discuss like these nitty gritty details, but, they were very forthcoming and very candid. And I think that's what's really contributed to creating such a thorough, comprehensive report.
And when are you releasing, publishing the report?
So